From the deep, dark reaches of Star Trek Online comes Nikitas and Greebug with another episode of Fleet Action Report.
Hello, and welcome to Fleet Action Report, the show where we don't just play the game, but we teach you how to play the game. I'm Nikitas.
I'm still Greebug. Still. After all 143 episodes, I'm still Greebug. This is, episode 143, Extra Special Bridge Officer. Or I put Boffs short, but hey. How have you been, Nikitas?
Oh, we're starting with me today.
Yes, and what have you been up to in this past week?
So I did something very, very fun, and I haven't done it in a long time. So Diablo 4 was out a couple weeks ago, and I played the heck out of it, and I really enjoyed it. But it's gone now for a couple months until the official release. So I found myself gravitating back to Diablo 3 and playing around. And I got my character power leveled and was doing the thing. And I got my build going. And I got to the point where I was playing on the highest torment levels. And it was fun, right? But I've got a friend who has played Diablo 3 for a long time. But usually it's just her and her husband that play together. They have never been power leveled before. So I invited him into my game, put it on the highest torment difficulty that I could, and power leveled them to level 70. And apparently the speed at which they were leveling blew her husband's mind. And so, when you power level somebody, they sit back and don't really do much, and you run around and do stuff. So they were commenting in chat because we weren't on voice while I was doing this. And it was just hilarious to read his comments as I was going through it. He was like, "Have you ever been hit by a leveling tree before?" Well, I think the whole tree got me, including the roots. It was just funny comments like that. And so I was like, okay, well, if you think this is funny, just wait until we get you a greater rift stone, and then I'll show you some real power leveling. So we did, and I jumped right into a level 100 greater rift. And it was funny just to watch his levels skyrocket through everything. Anyway, it was fun to do. They had a blast doing it, and after 2 runs, they were at prestige level 400 and some. It was just really fun, and we had a really good time going through it all. Outside of playing Diablo, which I have done a ton, I was trying to get my character in STO ready for an event we have coming up, not this Thursday, but the following Thursday. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. Greebog, how has your week been?
My week, well, I planned on how I could kill some players, and then, well, I mean, real life happens, and it's important for people to take time when they need time. And so we had one person that was going to be gone, and another person that, because of real life, they were going through some tough stuff personally, so just needed some mental space. And so unfortunately we didn't get to play, but we will get back to me killing them in almost 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been a little hectic with trying to get D&D going, which is weird for our online games. It kind of makes me think of real life games, because those can be a chore to get together sometimes because of work schedules and stuff. But online usually isn't as big a deal, but it kind of became that.
Well, I mean, it's springtime now. Some places the weather is now going to be nice enough. Some people might want to go outside and do stuff outside. I get it. Or just sometimes life throws a wrench. Let's see. But outside of that, I have been I've playing WoW still. The new vault system that they put in. Okay, so if you've got they released a new island that you can go to explore. A bunch of rares out there. There's some dailies you can do out there, but the rares drop keys, and the keys will once you have like 29 or 30 of them. Technically, you don't have to wait till you have that many, but if you want to clear this vault that they put in, you need, I think it's 29 doors that you have to open. It's 29 or 30. It seems weird that they would pick the number 29, in my opinion, which is why I always will still think 30. But essentially, it's a treasure tower that, yes, there are some bad guys in there that you will have to fight, but they're nothing difficult. There's a lot of puzzles in there, and sometimes you'll open one door and something in there will help you undo something that's in another room. Like there's this vial that you can put together of flame or whatever, and then you'll find a room that will have frost all over the floor, and you throw the vial in there and the frost is all gone. So I've been having fun tinkering around with a lot of that. Yeah. But also in WoW, raiding went well. We have ahead of the curve. So that means heroic difficulty. We killed the final boss in the raid. And I guess just in time, they just released that, I think, the 9th? Or, well, I'd have to look at... They released when the next raid tier is going to start. So it's not too far off, and we at least are not trying to beat a clock this time, which is kind of nice. So we can try to farm some special gear that people are looking for and do stuff and things like that. Get other people the ahead of the curve achievement as well. Outside of that, I've been playing a fair amount of STO, doing stuff and things, and here working on not this character, but my KDF captain for a bit. I've been trying to get him. So it kind of goes with what's going on in the next show that we'll be doing. So I've been trying to get him ready to be featured with a build for the next show. So I've started that progress. I'm halfway through a series of 6 missions to get the space set that I am looking to get. I'm not. We'll go into those what all that is next episode. But yeah, so I started that progress. I've started trying to look at what I need to put together for the ship that I'm working on the build for. Yeah. So, like I said, doing a fair amount of STO stuff and things. I already got my my whatchamacallit thing, my kit module that let's see, what is it? Voth Exosuit. Yes. I just wanted to say like the RoboCop T whatever thing that was the enemy in the RoboCop movie.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's almost exactly what it looks like.
Yeah. But all right. So that's your week, my week.
Since you started talking about it, go ahead and tell them about the current event.
So, yes, current events, the Voth Invictus. You do not have much time. What did I just do? You do not have much time to complete this, as in you have 2 days, 14 hours. So if you are not going to end up getting enough to complete it, you're going to have to buy it out. It is a good reward. I would say it's worth pushing to the end to do the buyout. Also, do note, you will be able to buy this out at any point throughout this year to finish it if you don't get it completed this time. This is because it is part of the mega event campaign, and they will let you buy out any of the ended event stuff at any stage while the event campaign is still going on. I did not realize that until I was on my free-to-play account. I created my free-to-play account. He didn't get to do any of the last year's events, and I was it was offering me to purchase all of last year's event buyouts before the last year event campaign was ended. So I guess I think I read that and I didn't fully understand it, but that just basically put the yeah, that's how it works. That makes sense now. So I would highly encourage you trying to one, get as many completions as you can get done. I know there are some people that are apparently already nearing the event campaign completion. Um,
I mean, if they did a buyout, sure. If they did a buyout and then continued to do the daily,
the
that gets a lot of points. I'm about halfway, but I didn't do any buyouts, and I haven't been doing the event every day since I completed it.
Me neither. I'm also about halfway. Um, yeah, but so that's an option. Like I said, yeah, you needed 14 days of progress. The reward is that Voth Exosuit, which is fun and awesome to run around in. You get 90 seconds to run around and blow stuff up. It's fun. You also get 25k to lithium when you complete, and 3 featured TFO reward boxes, which contain a specialization point or an enhanced universal tech upgrade. So,
Um,
I guess, yeah, if you haven't figured out, uh, the fastest way to get your completions was to go to the Voth Battleground and just take over in a zone. It's fast, easy, or you can run the Breach, which is a TFO, or Storming the Spire, another TFO, but the Battle Zone was faster.
so they have not announced any new events, but look for that tomorrow. Because the current event ends on Thursday. And since they've been running back to back to back to back to back events, they will probably be starting another one. If not this week, then I mean we might get a week off, and then next week we'll probably get something. But look for something to be announced tomorrow. We should also get the blog of the new ships tomorrow, and that's actually what I want to talk about. I will briefly mention that they have said that there's going to be an R&D weekend or week from the 6th to the 13th, so that will start Thursday. But what I wanted to talk about was the legendary Akira bundle that they have announced. And again, we will probably get a blog on this either tomorrow or Thursday. And then it's supposed to release a week from tomorrow, as I understand it. So there's going to be 2 ships in this bundle, and that's going to be the legendary Akira Command Cruiser. Yes, they made the Akira cruiser. Um, Although it is a light cruiser, something akin to a warship. So it should have a higher turn rate and whatnot, but it is a cruiser. And then the other one is the legendary Valdore Temporal Ops Strike Wing Escort. And that might actually be a longer name than the legendary bug ship that we got. I don't know. I haven't compared the two yet, but legendary Valdore Temporal Ops Strike Wing Escort. And the trait on there and the console on there looks like it's going to be good for, people who want to use temporal ops powers. And the ship itself does have a temporal ops seat. However, most of the reviews are saying that it's going to be terrible as a temporal op ship. However, it's going to be very, very good as like a cannon built ship if you wanted to do scatter volley or something like that. The seating and the build looks like it's going to be really, really good for that. So take that as you will. Um, I've been waiting a long time for a legendary Akira, and they've got this ship set up so that it can be a torpedo boat, or if you wanted to do a beam build on it, it's there. Um, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and the special skin they gave for it is a motion picture era skin, um, which looks pretty cool. So if you like, the motion picture and that view of ships or that timeline of ships, then this is going to be right up your alley. They've said the standard price is going to be 12,000 Zen or $120, and the initial sale is going to be 30% off. That 30% off is subject to change. We won't know for certain until the blog post is released, but it should be somewhere in that ballpark. The previous legendary bundle we got, which was the Romulan bundle, had the initial sale at 35%, so it should be somewhere around that. But that is going to make the initial sell price is 8,400 Zen or $84 essentially. They did mention some other items were going to be in there. They talked about a costume set, the Cardassian race if you haven't already purchased that, some experimental upgrade tokens, and I don't remember what else they mentioned, but there was a couple other things in there just to try and pad the pack a little bit, make it more tasty, as it were.
There's
But that's all.
one thing to note. Normally they give a T6 ship token, and that was not mentioned, and a lot of people were crying foul on that, but who knows? I don't know that they fully have said everything that would be in it, so yeah.
And to back us up a little bit here, talking about the events, it is worth noting that having a red alert or some other small intermediary event is probably not outside the question. So we may get like a red alert announcement tomorrow, and then that could run from Thursday for a week or two and go from there. That is not uncommon. So again, look for some sort of announcement on that tomorrow. But that's it. That's it for announcements this week. So for our show today, let me make sure, switch over to chat, make sure I haven't missed any comments. I have not. So for this week, we decided to kind of go back to our roots and explain an aspect of the game. And I found one that we had not touched on before, and this is the specialty seats that some of the ships come along with. And there's 5 of them in total: Command, Intel, Miracle Worker, Pilot, and Temporal Ops. And we're going to do, it would be hard to cover each one of these or all of these together in one hour-long episode. So we may revisit these later and do each one individually in detail. But I figured for this, we would touch on it, maybe highlight 1 or 2 of the big abilities that come with that set, and then kind of explain in general terms what it's good for. And the reason I'm harping on in general terms is because STO is one of those games where you can build almost anything you want. You can pick a ship, put what on it you want, and for the most part, you should still be able to run in-game content, at least on the advanced difficulty, which is really all you need. Excuse me, I'm getting choked up here. But if you're looking for, those really end game builds and running on elite and trying to chase those DPS numbers, then this is what they're looking for. That's what we're going to touch on a little bit today. So Greebog and I are currently in command ships, right? You're still
Yes.
in your command. Okay. Command is good for torpedo builds and very little else, honestly. There's a couple things in there that might boost your power levels or boost your overall damage, but it really, really excels with those torpedo builds. So I'm in my torpedo boat here, as you can see. So we're going to jump into a patrol, and I'll show you a couple of these abilities, or I'm sorry, we will show you a couple of these abilities, and then we're going to jump to our intel ships, and we'll go on down the line from there. You ready, Greebog?
Sure. Which one are
Okay,
let's see.
let's go to our favorite. Let's go to our Gala.
I will also note there are some command powers that are good for tanks. And I am in my tank ship, and I am using 2 of the command powers for such a thing.
Oh, so we can show off a little bit here. I did turn off my auto firing. Um, so I'm gonna run up here and target these guys, and we'll show you some of our abilities here. So first off, I'm going to show call emergency artillery. So this is going to call in some other ships. There they are. And they're just going to blow everything to Kingdom Come.
Here, I'm going to hit someone with
damage.
suppression barrage, except I don't think it'll do anything until I fire.
They actually blew up a ship. That was pretty impressive. All right. You can do your suppression if you want to.
That was, the second one was concentrate firepower. It basically marks a foe, and then basically anyone that's firing at it, especially doing kinetic damage, will do extra damage. So it's good if you're running with people that are running torpedo builds or or have just torpedoes. You can help them do extra damage on targets. Like like I said, this is kind of a support type ship. I mean, it's a tank build. Which is also why the other power I have is the suppression barrage, which is essentially my weapons will make them deal less damage when I hit it. So, which means I have to start firing.
Yeah, that's always good, firing.
Keep concentrating fire on
I got taken out by an explosion. That's funny. Teach me to pay attention.
So
So concentrate firepower will also occasionally grant a high yield 1. I don't know if Greebog said that. I might have been too busy fighting.
No. It's mainly there to help your allies you or your allies to do torpedo damage. Great for torpedo boats, great for working with torpedo boats. Yeah.
So even if you're not flying a torpedo boat, if you're running with a partner who is, it can be very handy. Overall, I really like using these builds. These are kind of fun. Torpedoes everywhere.
I forgot how much I like the weapons I put on this ship. The fact that they hit everything. I mean, I am a tank. Here, let me...
I was going to say, aren't you supposed to get hate from everybody? All right, I'm going to turn my auto fire back on, and we can just wreck this, and then switch to our other ships.
Because I'm using the ball weapons that bounce.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Picked up a tight beam transmission on a new frequency. We're jamming that spectrum of their comms now, but it was probably a call for a...
I made sure to turn on threatening stance, so I'm
taking you.
Man, I didn't even get a fire at those guys. You took them out too fast. That's fun. Just blowing stuff up. Oh, there we go. There was a torpedo spread. I got my artillery coming in, but I think everything's going to be dead before they get here.
We'll send over a pacification
that was fun.
Take the suspect into custody.
Okay, so that's again command specialty seating, kind of in a nutshell.
The K's on. We have the suspect in custody.
All right. I'm still trying to remember where I have my intel. Oh wait, my intel's in the new ship. I said. I keep saying that, and I forget. I keep forgetting.
I've got several intel ships set up.
I know there's another intel ship. I just can't remember which one I...
I'm going to switch characters to Katis. Actually, I have several characters that run intel ships. Okay, so intel is supposed to be your strategic firing modes. Because you're using your intelligence, I guess.
This one?
I don't know. Was it that one?
I think it is this one.
As soon as I get off my load screen, I will have an invite for you.
Yes.
There we go.
Because this is my one with override subsystem safeties.
Okay. Good, because I don't actually have that one slotted, so this will be a good team up.
So override subsystem safeties, essentially you are basically turning off all the safety protocols to jam as much power through your system as fast as you can, which may or may not have a chance. It may burn out some wiring along the way, which is why there's a penalty of it will knock off typically. Well, one of your subsystems will go offline. There are workarounds. There are go to last week's episode, and I talked about many of the workarounds. Part of which is the Iconian space set. There was also one of my consoles that I am using also has a way of re-enabling a subsystem that gets knocked offline. So there are ways to get around the subsystem knocked offline. Do note, wasn't this one that put them on cooldown temporarily? The firing powers? Here. It'll tell me right now. No, it does not. Oh, it does for beam overload, I think.
Energy weapons will, so surgical strikes will.
Maybe that's the one I was thinking about.
Let's run Escort in Aftermath.
Sure.
So my go-to intelligence is surgical strikes. This is an energy weapon firing mode. It does share a cooldown with things like your energy weapon modes. So like scatter volley or fire at will, beam overload. It does not affect your torpedo firing modes. So you can fire those congruently, which is nice.
We are here to help.
Oh, let me turn off the auto firing here. So at level 3, this is what surgical strikes does. It increases your energy weapons damage by 330%, gives you 30 accuracy rating, 30% crit chance, and 80% crit severity. So it kind of boosts everything across the board there. It also lets you reduce your recharge timer of other bridge officer abilities. Adds additional beam damage bonus. Like, it just does a whole bunch of stuff for your energy weapons. This was boosted recently. It did not used to be nearly as effective. But here we go. So this is with nothing else boosting my power. Just surgical strikes. And I am shredding these Voth ships. It is worth noting that your type of energy weapon does not matter. It can be cannons, it can be beams, it can be turrets, it can be a mix of any of the above, and it would still be just as effective. Okay, so that shows that off. You want to show your thing off?
Mine won't show much of anything unless I get a system offline. And then you'll see something pop up offline above the ship. And normally, so it could be your weapons, it could be all kinds of stuff. This is a fire at will build. So essentially, it's another way of boosting your power levels to absurdity, so that way you do more damage.
Oh, we just shredded that whole group. That was fun. We do have one guy over here who's immune. Was immune.
I believe my shields kicked offline, but they're already back online. That is why I have the Iconian space set. So, if you didn't have something like that, it could have been bad. Oh, hey. I have a special thing for you, buddy.
For me?
No.
Oh, for our friends.
Yeah, have a good one.
The Borg had found some assistance.
So some other of the intelligence powers to note would be ionic turbulence. This could work in a control build because it does a movement resistance debuff and a chance to hold your enemies. So that is another intel power. I have seen some people use it in some builds, but I don't know that I've used it personally.
I feel the same way. The other one that you hear talked about is transport warhead. And specifically, I wanted to bring this one up because it was mentioned when they announced the new legendary ship bundle. The Akira is, excuse me, see, I'm still getting choked up. The Akira is coming with a new type of torpedo that it can charge up to 3, and then it will fire 3 torpedoes at once, and it works with all the torpedo firing modes except the assimilate. I think that was the one they mentioned that it does not work with. But specifically, they said that it will work with the transport warhead. Ideally, transport warhead is going to let you beam your torpedo through your enemy's shields and deal damage to them directly. And with the new torpedo, it would be ×3. So take that as you will. I have never used transport warhead, but I have heard it talked about from other content creators.
I've tinkered with it when when Intel was new, and it was a neat thing. I couldn't, because I wasn't doing a torpedo build, it did not strike me as something to keep. But like in a torpedo build, I could see that might be very powerful.
We would need a ship, and there may be one. I would have to look, but we would need a ship that has command and intel to really, really make it shine, I guess. I'll have to look and see if there's a ship that does that.
If I didn't share I found someone has created a spreadsheet out there, and I thought I put it in the Discord. Maybe I did not yet. But if not, I will put it into the Discord. It breaks down all of the ships and all of their seatings. Like,
okay,
this person went through and did an amazing job. Yeah, with every ship. Like, apparently there's like 419 tier 6 ships.
That does not surprise me.
Okay, so we are moving Miracle Worker. Where is... I think that was my Lexington.
I don't actually have a Miracle Worker ship set up right now.
I don't think this is my only Miracle Worker ship that I have set up. It is the one that I found had one of the powers. So Miracle Worker, typically most people will use it for tanking. There's a lot of good powers in there to help you with tanking. I mean, think about who it's really named after. It is like Scotty, Geordie LaForge types that who could basically work miracles and get the ship to do things that probably the ship was never meant to be able to handle. So that is, yeah. One of the powers called narrow sensor bands, which makes it immune to confuse and placate, but it also increases your damage. And then there's mixed armament synergy, which is what I have on this ship. This is apparently another fire at will build. And basically, as you can see here, activating a beam, cannon, mine, or torpedo will cause me to gain a plus 50% bonus all damage for the other 3 types of weapons. So that is, yeah. I have a torpedo spread. I have fire at will. But I don't know that I have I didn't put any cannon stuff. So I could see why someone might use that with also the entwined tactical matrices trait, and also have a cannon, like just the cannon power. You don't even have to have the cannons on your ship. You just have to activate it to trigger that trait and I believe that power to do its specials. So, and then I do know there are people that like the energy weapons exceed rated limits. It's a weapon haste, though. The thing to note, it's a continuous power drain, but it will not. I believe once it triggers, it puts your fire at will, beam overload, that type of stuff. Your fire modes on cooldown for 15 seconds. So you have to choose one or the other at that time. But I have heard of people using it for their builds.
I don't have any of those set up right now. I am checking to see if I have a pilot. I had a pilot ship set up at one point, but yeah, here we go.
Trying to see if I have any other miracle worker type ships that I set up to do stuff and things. See, some of the ships put miracle worker like or whatever their specializations in the name of the ship, and some of them do not. So it makes it a little more interesting to try to figure out what it is.
Okay. So you were talking about Miracle Worker. Can I go ahead and talk about Pilot?
Sure.
Okay. So Pilot was recently revamped. That's why I didn't have a build. Before, Pilot was kind of blah on a lot of its builds. But it was recently revamped, and I'm going to try and show off some of its powers real quick. The big ones to note are reroute reserves to weapons. This is a weapon haste, but it will drain energy from your engines. Oh, this character. This ship's really not set up. Oops. Let's fix this. It's got Hold Together, which is a hull heal. It's a hot, but it's kind of equivalent to Engineering Team 1 as far as that goes. It's got Form Up 1. This will let you teleport to an ally, and then it gives you a buff as long as you remain close together. And what's the other one? Lock Trajectory. This one is fun. I will have to show you this the way it works. It does this neat little thing where it lets you turn on your axis but keep going the same direction you're flying. It's kind of cool. So let's get in here and we'll show these two off, and then we've got one more we can talk about. Let's do, I don't know which one's the good one.
Ninth rule doesn't take too long, but I don't know how much you can do AoE.
Ninth rule's fine. We can jump into ninth rule. I'm sure you can cover me on the AoE front.
Where did ninth?
They moved it because they added some in there.
All right.
Load screen, load screen. Sorry. I have data in my head again.
Life forms. Those tiny little life forms.
Yeah, that. Still on a load screen. Uh-oh. We have
Looks like there was a fight.
I'm
an
in.
advertisement in chat.
We came here to determine the
No, we don't. Where do you see
Okay,
the advertisement? I banned the person already.
you're fast. All right, so let's move up. And I haven't flown this ship in ages.
The
There we
cutter
go.
is ready to assist you.
I thought I
Leave
made
enough of their
myself
silly
Okay, here we go.
I'll be under cloak.
So here, I'll just start with the trajectory. So there we go.
Orions and Ferengi working together.
Oh, it wore off already, or they hit me with something.
Reading a single Ferengi vessel.
Oh, briefly there it was working.
Okay. What the hell console was that?
Typical Ferengi, leaving the
I have something on this ship. I do not know what it is that did something fascinating.
What's that?
At one point, my ship had a, I would guess a photonic copy, run in and ram the enemy and blow up.
Well, that's interesting.
And I was like, well, that's new. That is not the power that I thought it was. Oh, hey, look who it is.
Yeah, Madron.
Well, no, I was thinking it's the Breen.
Oh, yeah,
Diplomacy
touche.
at its finest.
They're draining my energy. Go figure. I actually think I like this trajectory 1.
The nerd. Now,
Higher level trajectory just lasts longer.
ooh, I have a
Probably.
warning.
Well,
Well,
you'd have
and
to-
it increases your turn rate, but you don't really need that.
See, that is also where, like, looking at. Okay, so there is in the wiki, there is a cheat that has basically everything, all the powers, all, whether it be just the standard bridge officer powers, whether it be the specialization powers, got them all listed. Has a nice little brief thing. I will put that link in the show notes in the description for you all to look at if you want. But yeah.
What's that dark colored beam that you keep hitting me with?
I'm
Recognize it.
probably healing you.
Okay.
Or something to that effect. I wasn't really paying attention. I've set this up to be sort of a tanky build where it also helps your friends.
I'm flying backwards right now. Oh, that's fun. I will say that I do enjoy the, trajectory ability. Lock trajectory. It's fun. It's neat. There are times it's worthless, but it's fun to see.
You and I need to talk about after the show about the what I noticed. And I know I sent you a message. I have theories.
Okay. I won't have real long after the show today because it looks like we're gonna run a little long, and I have to work tomorrow. But that's fine.
It shouldn't take too long. Yeah, I think I'm healing you.
Good, because I keep getting frozen. Uh-oh. Shut off.
Well, I have noticed that your shields, anytime that thing is going off, that your shields are at full, and your hull is at full. So something, yeah.
I'll take it. I like the extra healing in this ship. This ship's a little squishier than I usually fly. There we go. Okay, and then the last one is a temporal ops ship, and I do not have those, one of those put together.
Okay, so temper ops typically, Saifu. That is pretty much what everyone will, whether it be a control build or an EPG build, exotic particle generator. that is kind of the way you roll on those. It has a lot of powers that help with that. So let me switch over to my Vern. That is the one that I have a temporal setup on. See, there it is.
I'll switch to my space magic build, but it doesn't use temporal. Although I'm kind of curious if my ship has temporal seating. That could be fun.
So on this ship, I actually have, let's see here, stations. If I go to my traits here, you can see I have this temporal seat, and I'm using recursive shearing 2, which is basically for a little bit of time, I will take some damage. It takes all that damage coming in and then reapplies it to the foe. I have seen some cannon rapid fires use it. I've seen some other various cannon builds use it. So it's not limited to EPG builds or control. I guess we didn't put this one in there. Timeline collapse is another one I've seen sometimes used, which it's basically another anomaly that pulls nearby foes in, which could be good for in a control build. And then causal reversion is a hull heal. The one that I need to add into our show notes is chronometric inversion field. And quite simply, let's see here. Let's go for their TLDR of this. Essentially reduces flight speed and outgoing damage, which is of the enemy. It reduces their flight speed and, yeah, their damage. So it is a way to debuff the enemies to make them not as threatening.
What's another good patrol we can knock out real quick? Or has it been long enough? Oh, we can go back to our gala. It's been long enough.
Sure. Just looking at my bar, seeing if I need to change things. I don't know that I have. Oh no, you have that there. I don't have this one.
Do you know if timeline collapse shares a cooldown with other anomalies?
Let me look. That's the other nice thing about the web page that I have. They have links to more detailed pages if that's what you're looking for, and if it'll go into detailed information about how they play with other things. I am not seeing it mention that.
Good.
So
okay. I might end up putting that on this ship after all. Will you come in here already? I know. You're on a website.
You asked a question. I was getting deep. I still have a minute 18 to get in.
Really?
For our gala.
That's weird.
So I mean,
a minute 18.
Minute
Why
5.
Was our cooldown
minute
different?
4. Because you probably left before I did.
By a minute?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm on a different character. I guess those lockouts are per character.
Well, you know.
Is there a different one you want to run, or should I just wait the minute?
43. So yeah, we're down to seconds now, you know.
Right,
so we're
hold off. I'll move away from the enemy.
But yeah, typically temporal stuff is very much conducive to control or EPG builds. You can get creative and use it for other things. I know I've seen some people that had a temporal ship went ahead and tossed in the timeline collapse and used the timeline collapse for that. If you had a tank type ship and you had a temporal seating, you might want to use the casual reversion to get another heal. So there's options.
I like the heals. Especially if you're on a ship that like doesn't have enough seating for engineering team.
I mean,
Okay.
if you are creative enough, I think you could easily go through and find a way to put together all of the various, take advantage of the various powers.
Well, I know, like, another one, it's not on our list, but Pilot also has one that removes um, damage over time effects, like hazard emitters. So if you're on a ship that you don't have access to hazard emitters, you still have a way to heal yourself. Oh, and here I am opening fire without letting you show off your stuff.
And here, look at all the anomalies. I mean,
is the big blue one yours?
Yes, probably.
That might be the timeline collapse.
Let's see. I have recursive shearing 2, and then I have the chronometric inversion field. It was probably the inversion field.
There you go. Kind of wish I had had grabbed the timeline beforehand. That's okay. We'll just knock this out.
And as you see, I also have the trait for the electrified anomalies.
There's 2 of those now. Did you know that?
2 anomalies or 2 electrified?
2 electrified. Oh, I wonder if that works on the timeline collapse too. I'm really going to have to throw that on this ship before we play again.
This ship has so many. Hey, everybody, have a planet. Hey, everybody, have this, have that. I hope you weren't wanting to see what you were fighting, because that's not how I roll with this ship. Have another anomaly.
Picked up a tight beam transmission on a new frequency.
I mean, this is my ice princess, so I get a lot of anomalies too, but they're all ice-based. Well, most of them are ice-based. I won't say all of them.
Have an anomaly.
I'm taking you with me.
I don't have that one, the giant tornado. Let's see, there's spore-infused anomalies that add electrical damage to your anomalies. There's electrified anomalies that adds electrical damage to your anomalies. Checkmate increases your exotic damage. That increases the anomalies, and then critical chance. So I guess it's those 2. It's electrified and spore-infused.
This is such a weird power, the temporal backstep.
Oh, somebody just teleported. Or something. He shifted somehow.
That's got them.
And there we go. We're done. Okay.
We'll send over a
So that takes care of that.
suspect into custody.
So yeah, there are many powers out there bridge officers can do.
Thank you for your assistance.
It comes down to your creativity on what you end up putting together. If you're going to put together your own build. Yeah. So you could also easily go out and copy other people's builds and take advantage of that.
So just a real quick way to wrap this up. Command is good for torpedo boats. Intelligence is good for energy weapons. Miracle Worker is good for tanks. Pilot, which is space only, is good for energy weapons and weird pilot maneuvers. And Temporal is good for control or EPG. Now, again, that's a very, very strict generalization. You are welcome to build your ships how you like. Give us a real quick fleet breakdown, and then we'll talk about next week and call it a night.
Fleet is still needing batteries. We're slowly getting there. We'll get there soon enough. But the colony's moving along nicely. The other fleet, dilithium mine, needs some marks, I believe, yet. So we are over halfway. A lot of marks have been donated, so we're getting close to having the dilithium mine 100% done. And then the Spire we are starting on, and we're still working on the Starbase. Starbase Tier 3 is our next goal.
So this coming Thursday will be a generalized fun night. We'll just run whatever. If people want to join us, that's great. If you have requests, you need help leveling, you need help getting past some troublesome mission, you're more than welcome to pop in. We'll help you knock that out. No problem. We'll go from there. Next Monday, we're going to be doing a theme build. And the plan is to do a theme build specifically around Breen. So Breen ships, Breen weapons, possibly Breen ground builds. We'll talk about it. The reason we're doing that, now that's, first of all, we're planning on doing more of that down the road. We'll do more theme fun builds or canon builds. But the reason we're starting with Breen is because Pirate Scum Gaming is running an event the following Thursday that they're calling Breen Night, and we're planning on joining in for that. So we got to get our ships ready and our characters ready, so then we can act like we're Breen for their Breen Fun Night. Did I miss anything, Greebog?
Nope. I figured that it's a great way to, one, showcase off what we are putting together, and help anyone else that might need some help trying to figure out how to put together like a Breen setup. I will warn you, unfortunately, some things aren't going to be. Some things will be easy to get a hold of. There will be some things that will not be, unfortunately.
It's all right. We'll manage. All right. So that's, we got some stuff going on over the next couple weeks. But that's all I got for you tonight. So I will leave you with the words of Q. See you out there.
Live long and prosper.